Hello, hello, hello. Janelle here. I don't know why I'm always so awkward in my openings, but anyway, Janelle here with lots of combat sports news and some predictions for you here. Real quick, you have to follow me everywhere. That is on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of that to get all of my predictions, all of my updates. I looked real quick to see if there was a Bellator event tomorrow. I didn't see any. I will continue to look if there is. I will have a prediction at least for that main event because they've been doing belts for the main events lately. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure there's nothing until June 11th. But please follow me everywhere to be checking up for that. Let me know. As of right now, let's go ahead and get into my predictions for UFC Fight Night Vegas 28. Now, there's 6 fights on the card as of right now of me looking. You know, with the COVID still going on and just all injury updates and things of that nature, there's always some moving around that goes on. So for right now, on the main card, we have 6 fights. Let's go ahead and get into it. First up, I'm picking Tom Breeze to beat Antonio Arroyo. I'm choosing Dusko Todorovic to beat Gregory Rodriguez. I'm choosing Santiago Ponzinibbio, who I'm looking to get back on track to beat Miguel Beza. I am choosing... I'm going through these Roman Dolides to beat Laureano Starpoli. Now, what weight class is this taking place at? They're actually both at 2 different weight classes. Is Starpoli moving up? Is Roman moving down? Someone let me know. I couldn't quite tell. I'm still looking at that because that will make a difference for me. This is what I'm going back and forth on. I'm going to have to look at the weigh-ins again and see what weight classes this is even happening at. So that is one that's kind of a question mark for me. But for right now, Roman Dolides. I'm choosing Marcin Tybura to beat Walt Harris. This is another one I'm going back and forth on. Walt is coming off 2 losses, but of course they were against high competition. He is ranked higher than Marcin, but Marcin seems to be on that right path, putting things together. He seems to be peaking at the right moment, whereas Walt, I'm just not sure where he's at. I'm not sure if, again, that chin hasn't been holding up lately. Skill-wise, has he been adding on to that skill? I'm not sure. So I'm going back and forth on that one, but for right now, I'm choosing Marcin. Now, onto the main event, and we're seeing, let me make sure that yes, main event, and we're seeing Jairzinho Rozenstruik take on Augusto Sakai. They're actually around the same height and the same length, with Rozenstruik having a little bit of a reach advantage with the hands, but not much to make it too much of a difference. He's not a particularly long fighter. I thought Augusto is much thicker than he is. I actually thought that he would just be a lot bigger, period. So I was surprised to see that height-wise they're around the same. Augusto will be bigger than him. He should use that size. Speaking of him, he should use that size. He's pretty well-rounded. He's got all the heavyweights have one-punch knockout power, so he needs to close the distance. He needs to have that big body weight on him, whether it's be the dirty boxing, press him up against that cage, but use that big body to muscle him around, drain some of that cardio from him. This is a 5-round fight. They've both been in 5-round fights before, but with Sakai, I would say don't be so big. You usually come in around like 265. As we are seeing now with the heavyweights, it's better if you're around like 250. Even with someone like a Francis Ngannou, most of them, they're just, you got to be a little bit smaller. Your cardio's got to be a little bit better. It's not best to be at the top of the weight class. So I would, hopefully you are a little bit smaller. That way you can make sure you last the 5 rounds. It's part of the reason why you got KO'd in the 5th round of that fight against, I believe it was Overeem. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So I would be a little bit smaller, but still use that size advantage, which I still believe you will have to your advantage. Tear apart his lead leg. You want to take away some of that power, some of that speed, because he's going to be faster than you. And more punching power than you. But kicking power, you might have more of that. Rozenstruik, again, you're going to be faster and you're going to have more punching power. Kicking, I'm not quite sure. Faster, not only with the hands, but with the feet, your body movement, all of that. Use that to your advantage. When you're faster and more powerful with the hands, you should be beating up the whole body. Do not headhunt. Do not become predictable, which you can. Protect yourself. When you get hit, sometimes it makes you hesitate and stun yourself. Protect yourself. Do not get overconfident in your headhunting. Combinations. If this goes down to the ground, pop back up. If it goes down to the ground, I think, you know what, Sakai might actually have a advantage there. So Sakai, if you get trapped on the feet, you might want to take this down to the ground. But if you get taken down to the ground, it's tricky. You want to pop back up. If he gets his body around you, close quarters, you want to get back in space. Even though you don't fight long, because you're faster, you should be able to work better in space. Who's going to win this fight? I do believe Rozenstruik is more skilled on the feet. I am going to pick Rozenstruik. Yeah, I'm going to pick Rozenstruik. All right. Now on to the next event we're recapping, and this I don't even know if this is Trilla. Someone let me know who this is. But anyway, we are having a boxing fight on this coming Sunday. It's happening at 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's happening in Miami, Florida. We are seeing the undefeated boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. taking on Big Paul. Now, I call him Big Paul, Little Paul, not out of disrespect, but because it's the best way for me to keep them apart. Whenever I say their names, for some reason, I always say Jake when I mean Logan, and Logan when I mean Jake. It just happens. It's easier when I call Big Paul, Little Paul. So, we have Floyd Mayweather Jr. taking on Big Paul. And I looked at the undercard here. It looks like they're all actual boxing fights, including a title fight, it looks like, on the co-main event. So that's interesting. So, again, I don't know if this is Trilla, because there's just straight up boxing fights on the undercard here. So someone let me know what organization is actually throwing this. So we're going to talk about the main event here. Real quick, I wanted to talk about, it's a Showtime pay-per-view. It's $50. So I actually thought it was going to be $100. I don't know how much the Triller was, but I know the last time Floyd fought McGregor, it was like $100 almost. So this is actually only $50 on Showtime pay-per-view. We are seeing, okay, so the rules. We're seeing 8 3-minute rounds with 10-ounce gloves. Knockouts are legal. However, there are there's no headgear, no judges, and there's not going to be any declared winner. And I'm wondering, like, so KOs are legal. So if I knock somebody out, but I'm not going to be declared the winner still, even if I knock them out? I don't know how that makes sense. So yeah, this is an exhibition match. That we know that's what this is. I guess I'm gonna make a prediction. I just wrote down some little facts here about this is ridiculous. We know that Floyd Mayweather is undefeated. We know his whole slew of records, whether you want to say that he was ducking people or he waited to fight people when they were over the hill, or fought people when they were too young, won't fight them again, that they're better. However you want to say it, he's still undefeated. Whether you want to say he broke the record on a non-boxer in Conor McGregor, either way, at least Conor McGregor is an amateur European boxing champion. That means he fought other boxers to get that title. So however you want to say it, that is Mayweather, is his pedigree. He is 44 years old, about 5'8", about 155 pounds, or something around that nature. He stays in good shape. He's a pristine athlete, has been since he was a wee child. As you know, he's kind of a boxing prodigy. Doesn't eat candy, doesn't do drugs or alcohol, things of that nature. So he is a pristine athlete, always stays in shape. And even himself said, this is a way for me to stay in shape now that I'm retired, essentially. I can still, he said, even though I'm retired, it doesn't mean I'm retired from boxing. I'm not retired from entertaining, is what he said. We have Jake Paul, who is about 6'2", 190 pounds. From what I could see, he lost a fight to a fellow YouTube boxer, a KS01. So apparently he has a losing record for the YouTube boxers. So Baby Paul's the boxer in the family, I guess. And if you saw one of my last video when I was talking about the Paul brothers, I even mentioned this whole YouTubers versus Twitch people with all these people whose names I got completely wrong, Brahmer and Hall or whoever. But this KS1 guy is part of it, and apparently he beat Big Paul. So I'm not gonna go back and watch that fight. I don't care. Let's go into the prediction. So people are saying Jake Paul being 24, bigger. I don't know if they're saying because he's bigger, he's going to be stronger. He does have a wrestling background, and even himself said that he eventually does want to do an MMA fight of some sort. And if he wins, he'll do another one. So will he be more powerful than Floyd? I don't know. Will he be stronger than Floyd? Isn't physically stronger? Will he be able to muscle him around, stuff like that, tie him up, things of that nature? Yeah, he's gonna have like 40 pounds on him. So yeah, he'll be able to do that. Bother him, upset him, frustrate him. That's probably his best bet to, I guess, winning. Use that length. You're a lot longer than him. You fight behind the jab. Floyd is a lot faster. He'll be faster in every way possible. He's got great defense, of course, you know, with his defense, that lockdown defense with him turning sideways. He has such a small target. So even with Jake Paul's reach advantage and with his speed, lack of speed, I don't think he's going to be able to hit Floyd unless Floyd actually stands in front of him the way he did with Conor McGregor. If Floyd decides to make this entertaining for us, he'll stand in front of Big Paul. If not, he'll avoid the shots and point his way to a victory. Will he knock him out in the later rounds after kind of wearing him out a little bit, taking out some of that energy? Because I think he'll put that pace on him. Maybe he won't put it. He's not. Floyd's not a particularly offensively high producing fighter. He's never been that. Very low offensive output, extremely high accuracy. So will he change that? Will he open up more? Will he fight more because he's fighting the YouTube boxer? Maybe. Do. Yes. Do that. Make it more entertaining. And then knock him out. You have more punching power, you will, because you're the actual boxer. Even though you're 40 pounds smaller than him, I still think you'll be more powerful than him. So it just depends on what Floyd decides to do. Hopefully he'll open up, stand in front of him a little bit, but still protect himself, because Jesus, do not try to entertain us and somehow get caught by this guy. So open up a little bit, stand in front of him a little bit, entertain us, give us a little bit of a show, and then knock him out or get the TKO victory later on in this 8 rounds, 3 minute type fight. All right, on to the next. We're also finding out that, picking Floyd Mayweather Jr., we're seeing the fight announced between Little Paul and Tyron Woodley, the former UFC welterweight champion. It looks like it is signed, sealed, and delivered, y'all. It is happening in August. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick. I'll do an actual prediction on that the same way I did this, closer to it. But let me know what you guys think about the fight actually being signed. Also, it looks like the Kamal Usman Colby Covington 2 is also signed. So yeah, also looks like with the Diego Sanchez, we have a little bit more information coming out here. He has been in touch with Dana White. I don't think he's going to come back to the promotion from what Dana White seems to be saying, but it is nice to see that he has shed that dead weight of Joshua Fabia. However, the OnlyFans account that they had, which was run by Joshua, apparently made like $1.5 million, and I don't think Diego has seen any of that. So that's just a little bit more update on some of the MMA news. You know how to continue on the Sanchez Fabia saga. Now let me know all of your picks. Oh, if you haven't by now, follow me, please. Subscribe. Oh gosh, I lost it here right at the last minute. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe, share the videos. You have to follow me on all platforms, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. Give me all of your injury updates, any fight changes that I'm not knowing of, any Bellator events that I'm not knowing of, any bare knuckle events that I'm not knowing of. Give me your thoughts, of course, on the Paul brothers and this upcoming Mayweather Jr. Big Paul fight, and the actual boxing fights that are happening on the undercard. Long day, you guys. Talk to me. Take care. Goodbye.